All right, we'll head out and we'll take a closer look at Ascot. Shaun McGruddy to join us after the traffic.
Maytag Radio, your station of choice. Each weekday morning from 5:30 with the Sports Daily.
All right, now time to dive a little bit deeper into the Ascot program there from Saturday. Plenty of talking points coming out of the features, the Crawford and also the Eurythmic, and we'll kick it off with the thoughts of jockey Shaun McGruddy after the win of Rope Them In at Ascot on Saturday. Shaun, good morning and thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, gentlemen.
How are you, Shaun?
Yeah, going good, thanks.
Good to hear. How were you when the gates opened in the Crawford?
Well, I had to go to Plan B pretty quickly.
Yes.
I didn't panic too much because I know he's a better horse sort of that often anyway, and as it turned out, they really flew along up front, so I wasn't all that too concerned. Just meant I had a bit more traffic to overcome.
Okay, so let's talk through the run itself from that initial setback when he was a little bit slow to step to the point of the corner, Shaun, and then in the straight.
Yeah, so after that, I just had to take my medicine. After I watched the replay, I realised I would have only been at one spot closer, I think, but as it turned out, I was following London's Image, and yeah, I thought I saw an opportunity to get around at the heels of Willie Pike, and his horse didn't really kick, and Twain's Angel, who was off the bridle, all of a sudden got back on the bridle, so that sort of put me back in jail there. So I just had to go back to where I originally was, and I thought, well, we've got too much ground to make up, we can't possibly win, and just when I first went for him, he just went to lay in a little bit, and when I switched it over to the left and just give him one little tap, he straightened up and savaged the line like a good horse.
Were you expecting him to provide that turn of foot, Shaun?
Not quite like that, no. When I straightened up, I thought I'm too far off him to win. So that did take me by surprise a little bit. And I thought his second trial wasn't sort of him at his best. So I just sort of thought if Wolfie had him better than what he had in the trial, I thought he could win. But like I say, when I straightened up where I was, I didn't necessarily think I could win on the day.
And he flattened out like a nice horse. And we know he is a nice horse, Shaun.
That's right, yeah. Look, and whatever little niggle he has, Wolfie's always said that the real good horses, they don't let that stop them, and that was the case on Saturday.
Okay, so in the lead up to the weekend, Shaun, you know this horse better than most. Were you confident that was the Rope Them In of 2024 in the spring as opposed to what we saw in the autumn?
Yeah, that's right. So all preparation, I said to Wolfie, I think he's back to what he was in the summer and not in the autumn. And so that's more sort of internally and mentally. He's back to his best. But as with most horses in the winter, he's had a little niggle with his feet with the wet ground. And so that's sort of why, like I say, he didn't trial off the charts. But Wolfie's moved him back down to Albany now with the rest of the team. So I didn't get to gallop him on Tuesday as such, but his work between his trial and his race there on Saturday when he was in town has been outstanding.
So is he a pretty easy horse to read in that sense, Shaun? You say he's back, like you pretty much know that from the first one or two gallops this preparation?
Yeah, a good couple of gallops in, I said to Wolfie, I think he's back. And like I say, even his trial, I knew he was back sort of, like I say, internally and mentally, but just with his feet of late, there was a little question mark there. But like I say, Wolfie, as he does, he sort of gets them to where they need to be on race day. Okay,
so Peter Nucky was of the view that he's a sprinter. Am I right in thinking you're of that view as well, as opposed to a miler? And I think Steve is on record as saying perhaps we can get him to a railway.
Yeah, look, I think he's probably shown he's pretty fast and has an electrifying turn of foot. So I think he may be more to the sprinting side. But I think when I trialled him first up, probably 2 preps ago, I said to Wolfie, I think he could get a mile. So I think the main thing to realise is that I don't think Wolfie's ever trained him to get a mile as such. I think if he really wanted to screw him down and head that way, he probably could. But I think as it stands, I think he'd probably be better off going for the sprinting races.
Okay, so how much of a role do you have in the final decision here, Shaun? Because we know that you and Wolfie go back a long way, and no doubt he seeks your counsel. Are you likely to be able to sway Steve one way or the other, or do you just leave it to Steve and owners?
Yeah, not really. I think sort of sometimes the more I tell Wolfie something, he does the opposite. So. But no, look, it's always up to him and the owners. I think mainly the trainer, Wolfie, it's up to him. But yeah, certainly we've been a good team in that regard as to sort of bouncing ideas off each other for a long time. So ultimately, I'll leave it up to Wolfie because it's his role, it's his horse, and that's his job. So I think whichever way he goes, they'll know he's there. I'll say that.
I know you spoke about it post-race, but you also mentioned the fact that the Winterbottom weight for age might not suit him.
It hasn't so far, but in saying that, I think if the horse that raced in the Winterbottom had turned up on Quokka Day, I think he would have earned some more money because he had a good run in the Quokka. He drew a good gate, and they didn't go that hard early, so that suited us as far as not being too close was concerned. But as you saw and as you know, in the autumn he wasn't quite 100% from the taxing summer that he had. So the jury's still out really if he can win at weight for age. Like I say, he wasn't right for that campaign, and the campaign before he was only a nearly turned 4-year-old before Christmas. So far it seems he's not quite a weight for age horse, and he's not much of him. But who knows? Maybe he's more mature this time in. And as with any big race, to win the race, you need the run of the race. So barriers make a big difference. If you can get the run of the race and have a soft run, maybe you could win at weight for age.
It's fair to say he was the highlight of a rather ho-hum day for yourself there, Shaun?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It was a funny day. Early in the day, nothing could win without cover. It was a funny day, but it was good to get a big one, that's for sure.
Will you be riding Rostislav in the Belgravia on Saturday?
I think he's going to go the week later to the
Prelude, okay. The first up performance, what did you make of it?
Oh, super. Yeah, he's probably only about 70 to 80% fit. He still does a bit wrong, but that was a good educational run for him. And, halfway down the straight, I thought we were going to win, and he just blew out late. So that was only his second start, so he's still learning what it's all about, but he definitely has a motor.
When do we see Red Can Man again?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. Wolfie was a bit scathing of the Albany Race Club when he couldn't gallop anything on the grass on Tuesday, and I'm not sure how he's pulled up from his workout on the sand there. So probably one for Wolfie to discuss Red Can about, I think.
All right. What about the Pinnacles? What's the headline acts for you, Shaun?
Yeah, just the two you've mentioned, I guess, Rostislav and Rodin. Not really getting a lot of outside rides at the minute. Really just riding for Wolfie and again Jimmy. So hopefully something can bob up, and hopefully I can pick something up in the other races.
Well, they look two nice chances in some pretty big races, and we spoke about Rostislav last week. If he's able to sort out his racing manners a little bit, he should be pretty good at that 1,100, 1,200 metre mark. Shaun, thank you very much for your time, and all the best over the next couple of weeks.
Thanks very much, guys. I appreciate it.
There's Shaun McGruddy there, of course, riding Rope Them into victory, returning back to some of his best, carrying the 58.5, giving some quality opponents some weight and beating them up.